Kia ora everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We're here with Kotahi Studio, who are going to have a good chat to you. We've got a few people here presenting today, live from the field, in fact. So yeah, think of any questions that you've got. I really encourage you, those with their cameras off, to flick them on. Let us see you. Want to hear some questions and get to know you? Yeah, so enjoy the session. I'll hand it over now.
Hi, thanks so much, Shannon, for introducing us, and thanks so much for having us today and for joining us, everyone. My name's Jo. I am the HR manager here at Kotahi Studio. Alongside me is my colleague Anthony Willard. He is our engineering manager based here in our Littleton office. So just a bit about today's session and how we're looking to run that. We'll probably be with you for about 20 minutes or so, we would say. Myself and Anthony will give you a brief introduction to Kotahi, who we are, what we do. And then we're planning on crossing live to speak to a couple of our recent grads to talk through their experience working here with us at Kotahi. So if you're keen to hear more about what it's like to work here, then please stick around to get that hands-on experience from those guys. So a bit to kick off in terms of who we are. We're a talented team of structural, civil and environmental engineers. We're split across 3 offices. So we've got our head office here in Littleton and 2 other offices in both Napier and Blenheim. We're a really close-knit team of 25 currently, which we figure is a pretty good number at the moment. It means that we are close-knit, we work really closely together and alongside our clients as well. But then equally, we work on some really complex projects, so some fantastic opportunities for you as you launch your career within engineering. So to kick us off in terms of talking a little bit more about projects, do you want to share with us, Anthony, the type of projects that Kotahi is involved in?
Yeah, of course. So like Jo said, we're kind of the perfect size firm in that we're not too small that we only get lumped with, the basic engineering jobs, but we're not too big in that we only do like the big, overly complex, messy projects. We're small enough that we're able to do the smaller residential projects through to the large-scale, multi-million-dollar, the stuff that engineers love to do. So I've been thinking about the last 6 months in terms of my own experience. And in the last 6 months, I'll share my screen and show you some of the photos actually. So hopefully this does work. So in terms of like just my own personal, the last 6 months, I've been able to jump on the ferry from Littleton, go across to Diamond Harbour and help an elderly couple design a new timber deck. So really nice to be able to work with the owners there, actually have their hands-on experience working with the homeowners directly, which is quite unique, through to the other end of the spectrum, designing brand new multi-million-dollar houses up on the Port Hills. And again, having the interaction with the architects, the clients, the geotech engineers. So cool to see that full range there. I've also been able to work on historic structures. So this pump here was built in the 1800s, so 1880. And the project we did is we took a small pump house through to quite a significantly sized, large staff facility centre. So again, being able to work on historic structures is quite a unique aspect of the role here. Through to multi-million-dollar base isolated hospitals up in the North Island. And just for scale, this photo here shows one of the base isolators in the hospital. And that there, I think, is about 1.2 meters deep. So although we don't have somebody standing next to it, you can imagine that's pretty significant size bit of steel there. So I guess just looking at that range of projects, and I'll stop sharing my screen now. One of the cool things about being able to work on that full range is not only do you grow technically, you can imagine the things you had to learn from designing a deck through to designing a multi-million-dollar base isolated building, but you also get the interaction with homeowners, with the architects, with the builders, with geotech engineers, and that kind of teaches you more about the holistic side of engineering, what it means to be a good consultant. So I think the projects that we do here are great because they kind of showcase everything.
Awesome.
Which is nice.
So in terms of the roles that we have available, do you want to just explain what we have
coming up? So coming up over the 2022
Yeah.
and 23 summer break. We've got 3 internships we're looking for. So we've got an office up in Napier and we're looking for a structural intern up there. We've got a structural internship here in Littleton and a civil internship here in Littleton as well. And then looking beyond the summer, we've got 2 graduate roles as well. We've got a structural graduate role here in Littleton and a civil graduate role also here in Littleton. Now, I know some of you listening might get a little bit confused by what you mean between structural and civil, but I'm pretty sure most of you are just doing a civil degree. So when I say structures, what I'm meaning is buildings, houses, things that basically stick above the ground. That's the structural side of things. So earthquake engineering, steel, concrete, timber. On the civil side of things, that's generally the buildings or the infrastructure below ground. So think about stormwater drainage, plumbing, roading, pavement design. That's all on the civil side. So if you're looking for a structural role, stuff above the ground, we've got a couple of internships and a graduate role coming out. And if you're looking at the civil side of things, so ground level and below, we've also got an internship and a graduate role coming up next year.
Fantastic. Thanks for explaining that, Anthony. So also, I guess what people love to hear about is the benefits of working for a particular organisation. So do you want to share with us some of the benefits of working for Kotahi?
Well, one of the things I'm particularly proud of here at Kotahi is the balance we have between work and life. So we are very keen to make sure that our employees, they live their best lives. You know, if you have a great life, you're gonna be a great employee. So things we prioritize are our 980-day fortnight, which basically means every second Friday is a day off. And really, who can't complain with 3-day weekends every fortnight? We also promote flexibility. We're going to be hearing from Adam, one of our graduates soon, just in terms of what that looks like for him personally. But at the same time, you know, that's the outside of work balance. It's also really important to us that our work is enjoyable and we actually have fun when we're in their office. So we often have team lunches, team activities. Our morning teas are a big thing here. But for us, it's the whole experience of working for Kotahi. It needs to be fun and enjoyable. You're here for 40 hours, so we want you to enjoy that time. But I guess more importantly to you guys as potential interns and potential graduates is the support we actually offer as a company. Joe mentioned before, my role here is the engineering manager. And effectively, that means I'm paid to make sure our interns and our graduates have enough support, you know, they get enough technical support, enough professional support to make sure that they grow from graduates through to really competent designers in the future. And that kind of sits on my shoulders. So there's someone in the office who's going to give you really clear guidance. But at the same time, the rest of our team is incredibly competent and incredibly helpful when it comes to supporting you as you grow in your own careers. I did some quick math before, and more than half of our structural engineers are chartered. So in terms of coming to a team which has really good experience, we're very high up there being able to provide that guidance you need.
Fantastic. Thank you, Anthony. So what we're really keen to do as well is give you guys a bit of info direct from our grads, so our recent graduates. So we will now cut across to Shane.
Yes, so we're going to jump across to Shane. Now, Shane, you don't look like you're in the office. So do you want to tell us kind of where you're at the moment?
Good afternoon, Anthony and Joe. So I'm here with Nick and we're standing on Ford Road, which is soon to be the new headquarters of Aramex Couriers. So we'll just flick across to an IFC model to show you what the end product will look like.
Cool, we can see that.
Awesome. So the new Aramex building is what we'd call a hybrid between an office building and a logistics warehouse located within a flood-prone zone with difficult ground conditions. The project has presented many challenges. The key challenge to unlocking this project was resolving the foundations. We had a very thin layer of stiff material. However, piling was not feasible due to budget constraints. Through working closely with the geotechnical engineer to define and iterate the soil structure interaction, we were able to remove the need for piles and instead utilize a grillage of ground beams. Another key challenge was resolving the mismatch of grids between the office, warehouse, and the loading bay, which require large column-free spaces. This added complexity to the design with a need for a transfer truss and welded steel beams.
Sounds very interesting, Shane.
Yeah, for sure.
you joined us back in basically the beginning of January this year as one of our graduates. What was it like joining Kotahi as a graduate?
Yep. So right from the interview process, it was a very enjoyable and fun experience. Kotahi, with its flexibility and culture, has really eased the transition from being a student to the working life, and not to mention the great exposure to new jobs and being on site, as well as sitting in meetings.
Cool. Now, when you were making your decision probably last year, what made you choose to work for Kotahi?
Awesome. So when I was looking into Kotahi as a company, I felt like it was the best decision for my career progression, and with the opportunities they offered and the environment they promote. Being a smaller company, I felt Kotahi caters to individual goals, provides the support and focus on the employees that we require, and yeah, the exposure to new and exciting jobs. Yeah.
Cool. You did mention opportunities before. What kind of things have you been able to work on, or what opportunities have we offered you?
All right. So nearly once a week, we're exposed to tech talks or presentations to ensure continuous learning. The experienced engineers that I work with day to day are very generous with their time. They love helping me out and walking me through new design procedures. In addition, as a graduate, I'm placed on specific jobs where these will take me through design procedures and fast track my learning.
Sounds good.
For instance, I'll just go on and tell you about the jobs I've worked on.
Sounds good.
I've worked on new residential buildings in Terrace, Christchurch and Napier, all remotely. As well as I'm currently working on the Dunedin Airport Fire Station, where I am responsible for the full structural design.
So then, apart from the actual engineering day-to-day job you do, is there anything else you get involved with?
Yes, so Kotahi actively encourages me to go to networking and social events. Through one of these events, I was put in contact with the Wonder Project. The Wonder Project being, I work with a school in the area, and what we do is we teach the children or the students the first principles of physics from a young age, and more excitingly, we assemble and launch a rocket at the end of the project.
Sounds pretty cool.
And yeah, it's all made a lot easier for me as well, being able to pursue these opportunities within working hours, so I ensure that good that work-life balance.
Sounds good. So you've been with us for about 4 or 5 months now. What do you think's been the best part of your experience?
It's great to be working alongside like-minded people. As you said before, we do spend a lot of time together, so getting along with everyone, as well as working on new and exciting projects day to day.
Cool. And now I'm assuming there's a couple of potential graduates and interns looking for jobs coming up. Do you have any tips yourself about how you landed your job?
Yes, especially in the interview process, I found it was very important to get an understanding of that Kotahi culture that we speak about, and really see yourself fitting in with the team and ask questions and just learn about the company.
Cool. Hey, thanks, Shane. Before we hang up on you, just want to check if there's anyone who's watching who would like to ask Shane any questions about his time as a graduate.
Yep. All good.
No worries. Okay, hey, thanks so much, Shane.
Awesome.
Thank you, Shane. Thanks so much for
Thank
joining
you,
us.
Joe and
Nice
Anthony.
to see you.
Awesome.
So now we've heard from Shane, we also have another of our graduates, Adam, who we are going to connect in with now. Hello, Adam. How are you?
Hi, Joe. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
And you've got a nice view out there that is not the Littleton view, although our Littleton view is lovely. This looks also lovely. So do you want to talk to where you are currently?
Yeah, well, as you might be able to see over my shoulder there, I am actually working from Melbourne currently. a change of scenery from Littleton, although I must agree Littleton has quite a nice view.
It does, it does. But yes, so as you can tell, Adam is in Melbourne and enjoying working remotely from there. That's one of the things that we make important or place in high regard here at Kotahi, is supporting people on their journey, whatever that might look like. And so if that is working remotely or flexible working conditions, we are keen to support that. So in terms of Adam's experience with Kotahi, he actually started with us on an internship, and then has now moved into the grad position a year later. So do you want to talk us through your internship experience initially, Adam, and how that was for you?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, like Joe said, I came on as an intern initially, and pretty much found that I got stuck straight into work, which was a very steep learning curve, but I found it very enjoyable. I got a range of small kind of residential jobs, which really helped me to learn about the consenting process and all of the kind of professional engineering and consulting processes that go on behind the scenes, which was quite different to the purely technical stuff that I'd been exposed to at university. And as well as that, I was also given the opportunity to get stuck into quite a large project for a winery. So I ended up helping to design a really large 70-meter spanning sawtooth shaped industrial roof. And I also had to help design some of the lateral system to hold that roof in place during earthquakes, which was quite a challenge and obviously a big extension from the stuff I'd previously seen at university. So I found that really fun. And obviously I had some great support, and the guys were all really good with their time, making sure that I wasn't overwhelmed and stepping me through. So I felt like that internship was quite valuable for me. Especially then coming back to uni for my final year, I found that a lot of the things in my courses in final year I'd already been exposed to, and that definitely made me a bit more confident in my abilities heading back to uni.
Thanks so much, Adam, and we loved having you here on your internship, obviously. So in terms of when it came time for you to look for a grad position, what was it for yourself that motivated you or made you look towards coming back to Kotahi?
Yeah, I think the main thing that stood out for me was Kotahi being friendly and flexible. Those were the two big things. The people were really supportive. They were really friendly, and I didn't feel like kind of a graduate versus all these senior engineers who were too busy or whatever to help me out. I really felt like I was a part of the team straight away. And then also flexible. Obviously, you've talked about the flexible working hours, and here I am working from another country currently. I feel like that was a big thing for me that I thought was great about Kotahi, was the ability to see us as individuals and cater to our needs and be flexible with our working experience.
Awesome. And in terms of your transition into the work environment, obviously that comes with new challenges coming from university and study, and then, working and being here at, 7:30, 8 o'clock each morning. How did you find that transition, and what were some of the supports that assisted you in that transition?
Yeah, of course, it was definitely an adjustment, moving in from the uni schedule into a working schedule. I found that it was quite difficult at first to have that clear switch off between work and then when you're outside of work. Whereas I guess with university, you're used to having assignments that are always in the back of your mind and things that are always going on. But I found that leaning on some of my supports like hobbies and social activities, some of them through with friends and colleagues at Kotahi, really helped me to enable myself to switch off. And I found that that transition ended up being quite nice, out of university into the working life, and having a clear work and schedule, and then outside of work I can switch off, which has been really nice. And I also found a big transition point was the fact that jobs don't switch off after you submit them. Like very much like university assignments, you hand them in and then you can forget about them. I've very quickly learned that jobs will keep coming back, and they're an ongoing process as you move through design stages into construction and into the life of the structure, and engaging with all the stakeholders along the way. It's very much an ongoing process.
Great insight. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm sure that's helpful for some of the students listening in. In terms of your day-to-day, Adam, what are some of the kind of projects that you're currently working on?
Well, I'll share my screen there, Joe, and show one of the main projects that's been taking up my time lately.
Awesome.
So hopefully you can all see that.
We can. Thank you.
Lovely. So this here is a quite a high-end residential house up in Napier that's being designed. I've spent the last couple of months working my way through the full design of this. So it's quite a complex house, two levels. As you can see around the back, it's quite fancy. It's got its own pool and stuff. It's got a gym upstairs, a lot of open space for glazing, a deck area. And it's quite a cool house. And as well, over here, we've got some stairs and a lift shaft contained within the building. So it looks very nice. And then obviously, if I turn off the architectural model, you can now see, hopefully, the structure that I've been working my way through designing. So the upper floor has been a steel frame system. You can see some steel purlins and steel framing going on, as well as some timber walls to supplement that, which aren't shown, obviously, but they are there, don't worry. And then the first floor here is a ribbon infill flooring, which is basically a very heavy concrete flooring system. And then the lower floor, as you can see, is a whole bunch of concrete precast panels, which is quite heavy and stiff. And so it's definitely been a very complex project for me, especially as a grad. But it's been really cool being able to shape the design of this myself and really take charge of designing each and every kind of frame and each member size, each column throughout a project like this. And kind of appreciating the amount of work that goes into designing a structure like this has been really cool. So it's definitely kept me busy working through this, and we're just at the stage now where we're finally going for consent, which is quite exciting. So in my day-to-day, I'll be looking forward to moving on to something different as well in the coming weeks. So that's just Wonderful. A bit of what I've been doing.
Thank you, Adam, for sharing that, and hopefully that's of interest to people looking at grad positions and the kind of work that you might be doing with us if you were to join us for Kotahi. So I guess we can probably say farewell to Adam and thank you for joining us.
I appreciate you dialing in from your luxurious lifestyle in Melbourne at the moment.
Yeah, enjoy the next couple of weeks in Melbourne.
Quite all right. I'll stick around to those students on. I'll stick around if you've got questions at the end. I'll still be around if you have more specific questions for me. So
thanks, Adam.
Thanks, Adam. And I guess just to wrap up from our end of it, it'd be quite helpful, Joe, if you can talk through what the application process looks like.
Absolutely. So you can apply for our internship and grad positions through our website, so kotahistudio.co.nz. Our applications are open now and they're closing at the end of the month, at which point we will gather those applications together. Oh, and I should say as well, just to include your cover letter, CV and academic transcript, just a screenshot is fine. We'll be looking to hold interviews hopefully the week of the 7th to the 10th of June. We've worked that in around before exams and also before midterm break. So everyone tends to take off. So we're hoping that that's quite a good week to run those interviews. And as Anthony mentioned, just the key aspect to remember is just to make it clear whether you're interested in our civil or our structural positions. So if you need any clarification on anything at all as well, my contact details are on the job advertisement. So please do feel free to touch base, then send me a line. And if I can't answer your question, then I'm sure that Anthony will. So yes, oh, and another piece is that next Tuesday evening, we are co-hosting a CV and interview workshop event with the CivNat Society, which is a new club at the university. And so we're very much looking forward to being a part of that. And we would love to see whoever can join us at that event.
Wonderful. Hey, thank you so much for everyone who's dialed in today and for those who've watched online later. It's really good to hopefully get to meet some of you guys or hear from you through the application process. But before we end the webinar, is there anyone with any questions that they'd like to ask before we go? Wonderful.
Yep.
We'll take that as no, but definitely get hold of us through our website, kotahistudio.co.nz. We're more than happy to answer any questions if you want to get hold of us privately. Hopefully see some of you next Tuesday at the Civil Nat Res CV and interview tips night. Otherwise, good luck for the rest of your semester, and hope you guys well. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks, guys.
No worries.
Just stop recording. Oh.